Dart frogs, arguably some of the coolest and cutest little frogs around. But they're not as harmless as they may seem, so stay tuned with Ants Reptile Colony as we learn why you shouldn't pick up every pretty little thing you see. So, dart frogs, also known as poison dart frogs, are from the family Dendrobatidae and are native to the tropical Central and South America, and given the name are indeed toxic. With most amphibians, bright colors often mean danger, and poison dart frogs are some of the brightest out there. This type of coloration is known as aposematic coloration. The brighter the color, the higher the toxicity. And dart frogs have the whole range, from really colorful species to the really dull species. Of course, the brighter species have the higher toxicity, while the more dull species have the lower toxicity. And that's all well and good, but I bet you're wondering, how do these little frogs become so toxic? I mean, they're tiny. And research shows that it actually comes from their diet, with the more brightly colored and more toxic species having a diet predominantly consisting of ants, termites, and mites, which are themselves toxic due to the toxic plants that they eat. So you can see how it links up over here. Then with the more dull species of dart frogs having a much more varied diet with fewer mites, ants, and termites. Based on this logic and many observations of poison dart frogs in captivity, it shows that when they are deprived of their natural diet, the toxin tends to fade, eventually leaving the dart frogs completely harmless. Which is why many people tend to have these dart frogs as pets. Let me know down below if you will be one of those people that might like to have a dart frog as a pet. I know I would, and if you have a particular favorite, even if you don't want it as a pet, let me know. So now we know dart frogs obtain their toxins from their diet or the prey species. But how do they then use that for their own benefit? How do they get that toxin out of the prey, which is now in their stomach, to be able to secrete it out on top of their skin? In short, they have specialized proteins in the blood which are able to transport alkaloids, which is what these toxins are made from, to the specialized glands underneath the skin, which they can then store the toxin in and secrete from the gland onto the skin. The secretion is for defense only. They use it to protect themselves from potential predators and not to actually obtain any of the prey themselves. That's at least the basic thought behind the process. In fact, the entire organism needs to be geared towards bioaccumulation. In this case, to be able to accumulate the toxins from its diet, from its prey. So many of the tissues and organs within the frog are actually geared to do so. But not only are the frogs geared for bioaccumulation, they are also geared to prevent self-intoxication. Nope. Self-intoxication. So that basically means that they need to be able to make sure that they don't poison themselves while obtaining this toxin. And from what I can understand, the toxin binds to a specialized molecule which prevent the toxins from interacting with other molecules and giving the frog the poisoned effect. These molecules then sequester or inhibit the toxin from taking effect on the frog itself. The toxins are transported by these special molecules into the specialized storage glands below the skin, where once again the toxin is unable to react with the rest of the body and the frog is a-okay. From these specialized storage molecules, the frogs are then able to secrete the toxin onto their skins as their means of defense. And as I mentioned earlier, there are various levels of toxicity among the poison dart frogs, with species from the genus Philobates having the most toxic individuals, or species rather. In fact, 3 of the species from the genus Philobates have been known to be used by indigenous people to tip the points of their arrows or darts when hunting to immobilize their prey upon impalement. But the majority of poison dart frogs are not considered to be medically significant, as their toxins are not potent enough to kill a human. However, as I mentioned earlier, there are those species from the Philobates genus, with Philobates terribilis, or the golden poison dart frog, considered the most toxic, with the capacity to kill up to 10 people. Now, for an amphibian, that's pretty potent. And should a person be poisoned by one of these dart frogs, you could expect to suffer from convulsions, salivation, painful muscle contractions, and even a heart attack. The less toxic species, although they won't necessarily kill you, still pack quite a punch with painful convulsions and muscle contractions. So please don't go around messing with poison dart frogs in the wild unless you are with a trained professional or are taking the necessary safety precautions. But it's not all doom and gloom, as the poison dart frog toxin is constantly being studied by scientists, especially in the medical field, to see how it can help combat many of the diseases or where it can fit in the medical field. So only time will tell how successful it may be, but I have high hopes. And with that, I'd just like to thank you all for watching. It really does help this channel out tremendously, more than you'll ever know, in fact. And if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button down below. While you're down there, why not subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, share, whatever you do, it helps a lot, and I really do appreciate it again. And until next time, remember, it's never too late to learn. Don't go licking poison dart frogs, and I'll catch you in the next one.